Welcome to Heal Talk Tuesdays with Liza, where transformation begins as we evoke, embrace, and evolve. Greetings, and welcome to Heal Talk Tuesdays. This is Liza. It's so good to be here with you, isn't it? Well, we are in May, and May is blossoming back east with cherry blossoms and the tree, and here spring is on. Well, for those who celebrated Eid, congratulations. Well, it's not a congratulations, a happy Eid. And those who celebrate just about anything in life, I want to say, may God's blessings be with us, and celebration is the way to go. Today's topic is a continuum of what we started last month, but May is more of a feminine. It is about womanhood. It is about feelings, thoughts, ideas. Next month, actually not next month, next week is going to be, we're celebrating Mother's Day. But so what are some of the traumatic things we talk about? Today, I want to talk about trauma. What is trauma? And how you can cope with certain parts of trauma. If you are a member of my Daily Gratitude, which is right here on Facebook, you can join us. It's a private group every single day, daily. We post something either informational, inspirational, and something that is educational, or just an affirmation to make you feel good. And it's absolutely wonderful. I've had so many comments about, I look forward to your daily affirmations and everything. Actually, if you become a member with our website, which is HealWithin.com, and if you go there, you log in, not only you receive a gift, but you also become a part of our system that we send you information. Plus, you can always become a member, and for a small little fee, you get so many wonderful things, and you will realize the value of that, of getting daily affirmations, which some of my clients truly look for it, and they recite it, they reaffirm it, and then the audio recording that comes with it. Plus, you get so many values as to becoming a part of getting notifications about the groups that we are doing here at Heal Within, women's groups that we are putting together. As a matter of fact, starting May, we are, and so much more. So go ahead and join HealWithin.com, or just become a part of our private group right here on Facebook, which is called the Daily Gratitude. You can check it and send it and request an invite, and I'll be more than happy to include you. So today's topic is about trauma. Actually, what is trauma? And in our Daily Gratitude, I posted something, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because of this, because trauma can cause so many things in our life. It's that causes us from fight to flight, right? But what exactly is trauma? And for you to understand, 70% of the U.S. population, and I'm not talking about globally, but the U.S. population experiences trauma from, so many call birthing traumatic, and yet is beautiful. Do you understand? So what is traumatic to one person may not always be traumatic to another person. So when we talk about trauma, we often refer to traumatic events like diseases, sexual assault. As I said, some people call it, like, birthing could be traumatic effect because of the entire thing, and or war, right? But in reality, the word trauma describes a person's subjective response to an event in their life. And it could be just about anything. Miscarriage, the entire experience might be traumatic. Yes, being sexually abused can be traumatic. War, the sounds and everything, walking on eggshells, constantly being in that can be traumatic. Or one of my clients walking down the street, holding her mom's hand when she was only 7 or 8 years old, and a bird comes and flutters in front of her eyes, and she is scared of birds. And to her, that was the most traumatic thing that there was. And to this day, every time she walks around and she sees birds anywhere, she goes into this convulsive, without realizing, anxiety attack. So understanding all that, theoretically, any experience could be traumatic. So depending on how a person perceives it. Again, it's all perception, right? The same way as taking a test might be traumatic for one person. And there are folks, and I had a friend that took the bar exam in 5 different states, and she passed it just like that each time on the first try. And there are people who can't even pass the first, the second, or the third time. That's why they come to me, and hypnosis is one of the most beneficial things to help you with understanding the traumatic experience or the anxiety, the underlying causation, which is in your subconscious mind, right? Because the subconscious mind really doesn't understand any emotions, but it's just like a programming. It does what it's asked to. So, sometimes trauma can be described as just generational. Like my grandparents that came from the Armenian genocide, and everything that my grandmother went through and what she was witness to, and everything that happened in her life, and how she reacted to my mom, from my mom to me, and how I cope with certain things. It could be that there is an underlying trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma, uh, mental, right? Or what we call it, generational lineage trauma that continues on. So, again, perception and how we cope with certain things. So, this type of trauma includes racial or ethnic discrimination, some call that, and it's all about our responses, how we respond to certain things, and how it's been passed down. So, is trauma stored in the body? Yes, trauma is stored in the body. It's very much possible that, we know muscle has memory, and it can be stored in there. And the incentive, the reaction to trauma, is the physical reaction to traumatic experiences. So the subconscious mind holds that information, just like the bird, or something traumatic that has occurred maybe as a child. I have had many clients that have gone through abusive relationships, in a DV situation, and or being abused or assaulted as a child, and that traumatic experience still lingers on in their adulthood. Certain ones reveal itself in a different way. So the question was asked today, which is great question, and the question was asked today is, would you say that trauma is relative to what our brain can handle, and that one person may not see something as traumatic as another will? And my response was, we all deal with trauma in a different way. We all cope with everything, traumatic or not, the fight and flight, or, it's fight, flight, and what? Pause. So we all freeze, pause, same thing. We all deal with it in a different way. Some choose to evoke it, bring it forward to understand what's going on. Why are they either acting or reacting to certain things so that they can truly embrace the reality. What's going on? Why am I having this kind of a reaction? Why am I falling apart every time I see this or I hear this or something like that happens? Why is this affecting my body like this? Where's this coming from? So all those questions, to embrace the reality and say, this is why. And the only reason we do this because we want something better in our life. Remember a few weeks ago, we talked about communication. Every time we communicate, every time we do something is for a better result, for a better way of having answers. A better way of communication is, I want to feel good and I want my message to convey what I think, what I want, what I feel, so that when we have this dialogue, you too feel better. So everything is about feel good. So why is it that we get this, go to evoke this traumatic experiences is not to rehash it, but to reopen that in order to just shed a light. It doesn't mean that we have to poke it, and sometimes poking it is not a necessity, but just to shed a light, to go, aha, now I understand. Now I understand what went on, what's going on, and okay, I can do something about this. I can either change myself, my responses, my way of coping with it, my coping mechanism. I can shift it, I can change it, only so that I can evolve for a better result. Always for a better result. Because what I'm feeling or how I'm responding and the reaction I get from my responses is not feeling good. And that's why we always want to feel better and make a change for the better, for the healthier, for the way that it's more conducive to all. Now, why we do all that is because it's something that people talk about, yes, she responds that we talk about it at ADHD group. And so coping mechanisms for something like that is to understand, to truly understand, and it's important to remember that while these reactions can feel distressing, they're all natural way of coping, and it's awakening a trauma. And while we ought to adapt healthy coping mechanisms to deal with this, we also need to stop the blame and for experiencing any kind of an emotion and find the ways to heal it. So how do we heal? I call it to heal, to move forward in life. Sometimes you need to heal the wound. Truly. I've healed many wounds to be where I am. As a matter of fact, this weekend I was with family members, and I call it, we sat around that family therapy table, and it's a round table, and few of us, as we're sitting, we were reminiscing about family, certain things, and as we're discussing all that, so many things came up. And it was so good. It's like sitting at a round table, like in the old days when the chief turns that, like the bottle, when we spin the bottle, whoever is facing had the permission to speak while everyone else listened. Truly, you're not allowed to speak until it is your turn. So, and it was so wonderful over this table. We talked about hurt, wounds, forgiveness, in understanding, and how I have gone through so many of my forgiveness, and the other family member didn't even know about it. It was just amazing. If we can do it in a healthy way. So coping mechanisms are very important, and how we cope with adversity and trauma is this. I suggested that understanding breath work, because causing a body to mind and be activated when we find ourselves in a traumatic way is like being in the airplanes. In the old days, they give you a bag, they say, just breathe into it. Breath work and understanding the trauma that occurred then is not occurring at this very moment. So that's the reality. If you become present with the reality, one, be present with reality. Number two, understanding that trauma heals, breath work can also heal traumatic experiences. It's like I'm giving myself oxygen, vitality at this very moment to understand that I am safe. I am safe. And breath work is also good because it improves your focus and attention, helps your emotional pain, and gives you all that. So sit down on a mat in a comfortable position, right? And make sure that your legs are not crossed. And as you sit, center yourself, ground yourself, and make sure that you are in a place, even if you are in a busy place and everything, that when you ground yourself, you can even put the palms of your hand on the floor or something like that, and very gently lean back. Make sure that there is something you can lean back in the chair or a wall, or if you are safe on your mat, you ground yourself, center yourself, your back, all your muscles, everything is aligned, your spine is all aligned to the best that you can. To the best that you can, right? And there is no perfect way of doing this. My tummy is growling. It's like adjusting to what I am saying. So, once you do this, make sure that your feet are not crossed. And you can just sit as relaxed as possible. And change the direction of your movement upwards, moving from your core to just thinking that everything that has been inside, I can just bring it up and release it. I can bring it up and release it in thoughts. I can bring it up and release it as I exhale, releasing it. And as you breathe in and out, easily and gently, taking as many breaths as you can. And then calm yourself down. Make sure that one hand is on your tummy. And as you breathe in and out, easily and gently, maybe even rocking yourself ever so softly, imagine all the movement with each and every breath. As you inhale, bringing oxygen and vitality in, that you exhale and release all blame, hurt, pain, shame, guilt, no matter what it is. Just think it and breathe it. Release it. Think it, breathe in, exhale, release. And as you stretch yourself, you can even stretch and just like an accordion. And very gently center yourself and remain. Come into a stillness when you feel your body. and realize that no matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, that you can cope with this. Even the term spirituality, when we talk about it, refers to a process seeking meaning in your life and reflecting on your internal experiences. Spirituality may not always be about connecting to the universe or God or the angels or all the gods. No matter what, spirituality is becoming one with your own spirit, with own self, with you, and having this connection within yourself, right? Just with a show of hands, let me know how many of you have experienced this. That when you become still, when you are connected, you continue to be excellent communicator and looking great. Keep up the work. Thank you so much, Michael. Hello, Adrian. Hi, Seta. Understanding that communication physically, mentally, emotionally, consciously, and subconsciously is our primitive way of doing it. It's communicating. And most of us do this unconsciously. And yet, when you become aware, when you tap within yourself consciously, saying and deciding that I want to become aware, so anything in my life, if it was traumatic, if it was difficult, if it is painful, either physically, mentally, or emotionally, I no longer choose to keep it. Okay? And I choose no longer to hold on to it. You see, so many of us hold on to it for a reason or not. And that's the experiences becomes broader, can in a way that becomes defined as I am. So without knowing that research shows that a greater sense of spirituality fosters our own sense of connection within ourselves, and it aids in our own post-traumatic healing. A sense of knowing that I have the power within me to heal, to become better, to communicate the essence of who I am, and understanding my thoughts, my ideas, my concepts, my images, that all come together for a betterment of who I am and my relationships with not only with people, but with myself, my surrounding, with money, with health, with every aspect of who I am. So when you believe and you come to believe in yourself more so than what other people say, you connect and tap within yourself. So whether through becoming one and doing this self-care, and how is it that we do this phrase of self-care has become trendy in the last years in self-help books and everything, is it's a basics of our drive to know that we value ourselves. The drive to eat, sleep, even breathe, right? It's for you to know that you too are as important, that you too matter as much as the ones that you love and care for. So science truly supports this basic human need for self-care, and about 70% of social workers who work in with traumatic clients who have experienced trauma or secondary traumatic stressors, the effects which can be reduced by just effective physical, emotional, and professional self-care. So, if there is any way that I can be of assistance to you and give you the tools and the techniques and tap within yourself, inner self, or your subconscious mind to just simply evoke, then to embrace. And so that just like my client has no more fears of birds, and another client stopped smoking because started smoking at age 23, only because when he came back from the funeral, after his father's funeral, came back and everyone was in the living room and everything, and he missed his father. They had such deep connection with his father. And as he's sitting in the kitchen just reminiscing, suddenly he sees his father's a pack of cigarettes. And you know what he did? He picked up a cigarette, and until age 23 he couldn't stand smoking, and he would always tell his father, stop smoking, it's going to kill you, it's going to kill you. And although the father did not die of lung cancer and it was other complications, he picks up the cigarette and he starts smoking, right? But of course he continues on doing that even though he didn't like it, and then it became a habit, and then habit becomes what? A part of your behavior when you do it over and over, over and over, over and over. And by the time he came to me, he was 39 years old. So 24, 39, that's 15 years later, he is at my office saying he's got 2 kids and he no longer wants to stop, he no longer wants to smoke, and he wants to quit smoking. Of course, teaching we can't be quitters, but we choose to stop. And then the language, how we speak, so that the subconscious mind agrees with the conscious mind instead of bypassing certain words and communication, right? All that when you come here. And for us to understand the core, that traumatic experience, back to trauma. What is traumatic experience? To one person may not be to another. That was his traumatic experience, missing his father. And as he's sitting there, smoking, then, with everything else was going on, he felt a sense of connection. So as he's sitting here, when we did the hypnosis, it was our 3rd or 4th session in hypnosis, he remembers that as we're walking him through this scenario, sitting there, and some people say, no, 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 don't go through that traumatic experience. But yes, it's shedding, it's hovering above like a drone. It is not happening at that very moment. So you are physically, mentally, and emotionally safe, right? He understands, oh, I picked up the cigarette. I felt a sense of connection. I missed him so. And since then, he was doing it for that. Once he realizes this, not only that traumatic experience became such a beautiful experience. Oh, now I know. And he stopped. He literally stopped smoking. He no longer needed to have that. Why? Because we asked the subconscious, would you be willing to let go? And still have the connection to Father? Yes. Consciously, will you be willing to not smoke and find something else that you can give an oral satisfaction if need be? If need be. Or have another sense, maybe look at the albums and remember Father is there, or all that. Yes. Pow! Merging together. The beauty of the subconscious mind and the conscious. And called I am. Bingo. Sometimes it's as simple as this, and sometimes it may not be as simple as that. And yet, you have the power to heal within. You have the power to tap within. And you are as important as anyone else. So I hope today's message of Heal Talk Tuesday was beneficial to you. My name is Liza Boubari. I'm your expert hypnotherapist, and I am here for you. Until next week, I thank you for being here, being present. Please go to HealWithin.com for any thoughts, questions, anything that you wish. Become a part of our tribe, our community. Become a member and join us. We've got events coming coming soon, and we also have group meetings coming soon. That is all live right here, and those are going to be absolutely amazing. So join us, be part of HealWithin.com, and until next week, I bid you goodbye. God bless you, and may the universal light surround you. Bye-bye. And if you like this, share it, subscribe, and go to YouTube, and you'll see the rest of all my podcasts.